Okay, so I think you guys are seeing Facebook. I'm recording. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pick, what we're going to pick. You should be seeing a screen. Now let me go find. Let me go find Zyto. Now I don't know what you all are seeing again. I'm going to move this out there. Zyto wins. Bear with me, friends. This is new technology for me. I'm trying to sort it out. My goal is teaching. It's giving me an opportunity to practice my skills and to make this better. Maybe even make it shorter once we get started. That's not it. Okay. Why is my screen paused? Good Lord. Can you share? Maybe that's it. I think I don't know what's happening. What I see on Facebook is frozen, so I really have no idea. Oh, mercy. So this was going to require an edit anyway. Let me see if I can see it on my phone. Oh, mercy. So this was going to require an edit anyway. Okay. We're going to walk through this, and then I'll tell people on the Facebook to skip ahead to minute 3. I think that's what we're going to do. Okay. So this is a Zyto scan for Pumpkin, an 8-month-old golden doodle that is with me for about a week for some additional training because her family was struggling with the basics. So while she was here, I decided to do a Zyto scan and then walk through it on recording so that you all can get a little bit more information about what this tool is, what it does, and the things that it might tell us. So I'm just trying to get it back to its original start. So this is how this report started, with an adaptability index. We're on this screen. And it looks at the 3 major areas of bioresonance for the scan. It looks at the emotional stuff, the functional stuff, which is structure, mobility, that sort of thing, and then the energetics of the systems of the body. And we get a score in each of those areas and sort of an overall summary score. This tool is not diagnostic. We're not going to walk away here going, oh my God, she's got something major wrong with her, but it's going to help us figure out what we can use by the way of oils or essential oil products that would help her move into better balance or a state of homeostasis, if you will, between the systems of the body and overall well-being. So we do this and we make some decisions about what can we use to support wellness. The first screen we see is going to give us the top 10 recommended products from Young Living. My subscription is from Young Living. There are other versions of this tool available for different product lines. As a brand partner from Young Living, this makes sense for me to use theirs, right? But we can also sort of look across the bigger picture of things that may need to happen to help support each individual animal. This is going to give me the top 10 products that I could choose from to make some improvements. Do I have to go buy them all? No. If I already have them, then I would start to use them. If I have nothing that sort of fits this need, then yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit of shopping and planning and strategizing. Sorry, Pumpkin, she's laying under my feet. So let me tell you a little bit of background about her. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I like to do these completely blind where I sort of test my own intuition and the story that is presented from this analysis. But for her, we know she's about 8 months. She was spayed about 2 months ago. She has an inverted vulva, which is prone to infection, prone to irritation. And she's been on a kibble diet, and she was given a all-in-one flea tick topical heartworm preventative on Monday. So those are some known facts about this. And so then I start to say, well, based on that, why might these products be recommended? Or is there something out there that we don't necessarily take notice of yet that perhaps we need to start thinking about? So if I look at the Oregano Essential Oil, I know that oregano is really targeted to benefit the immune system and to be used as an alternative to some of the medications that we use for infections, right? So we build the immune system, we stop unwanted invaders and things that we do not want in the systems of the body. So that can make a lot of sense based on what we know about her being prone to infection. So need to do something about that, right? So I'm going to turn that on, and what you see is these numbers changed. So pay attention just to this little triangle. We're in the 50, 60, and now we've moved up into the 70 range, okay? So if I then look at parsley, now parsley was not in my book, but we can look down here and go, oh, life is full of toxins and other nasties that prevent you from feeling your best. But this is focused on internal cleansing and antioxidant properties. So if I think about this in terms of those nasty things that invade the body, which she is susceptible to, and the fact that she has been on a kibble diet, recently got this medication for the parasites, this can make sense as part of something that needs to support and cleanse the systems of the body. Okay, so if I turn that on, you can see we're moving up a little bit further. Doing this as analysis with any individual, I'm going to go through all of these. Am I going to choose them all? Not necessarily. If I have them, I might mix and match and rearrange some things, but I'm going to sort of pick and choose and try to make some sense out of why something specific has been recommended. So one of the things, and we're going to see this show up on another screen here in a minute, is celery seed. And let me just tell you what we know about celery seed. So remember, this is educational only. I'm not trying to diagnose, treat, or cure anything, but celery seed has been recognized as helpful in digestion, liver cleansing, and urinary tract support. Okay, so we know those things to be true, right? Kibble diet, prone to infection, recent and ongoing. Prior to this time, she has received those flea and tick topicals. And we know she was spayed. We know medication followed that. And so we also know she's had infection. She's even had an ear infection. And so all of that seems to come into play and start to make sense. And this is part of how I say, well, okay, I'll choose that because it ties directly to what we know to be true. Okay, what we know to be true. So I'm going to stop here. I'm not going to go through each of these for time's sake, but just to show you how this is starting to build itself out. We'll then flip over to the systems report. And what you will see is the systems of the body. So remember, we talked about these these systems, emotional, functional, and energetic, they're now broken into two categories: the foundational systems that we're all very familiar with, from cardiovascular, endocrine, GI, immune system, musculoskeletal, respiratory, and then the lifestyle factors. So I turned on, going back over here, I turned on 3 recommended products. I clicked on them and said, yes, I'm going to use those. Okay. The yellow was what the report started with. This teal line now is a result of having chosen those products. So by choosing, you see this number 2 here, it's going to pull forward the 2 products that I chose on that first screen. And that's going to help address this system of the body, moving it to almost, or really to ideal wellness. Does that mean we're going to have perfect everything just by using a few oils for a few days? Not necessarily, but it was going to give the body what it's asking for and help move it into a better state of well-being. You'll notice that even in the endocrine system, even though we got a little bump up, those products are not specific to the endocrine system. The endocrine system is asking for something a little more specific. And so that's why there's a 0 here. So the products that we chose were not recommended in this list, but we did get a little bump from the products that are there. And sometimes that's because of the blends of things and then how all the systems of the body certainly work together. So if I look at the detoxification system, so it pulled in oregano, but I may also look at some of these other oils as options. And it, again, if I have them, I'm going to use them. If I don't have them, and this had not already maxed out, then I would say, which one should I choose? So maybe the endocrine system's a little better to look at. Think hormones. Think she just got spayed. Are things back in balance? Are things normalized for her? No, they are not. And we still have other hormones at play: the thyroid, the adrenal glands, other factors of hormonal support will be with her for her whole life. So we tend to not think about hormones in neutered or spayed pets, and we really should. So this is going to recommend an essential oil blend. So if I choose that, then I'm making some progress there. This is a blend of 5 different blends. And you may hear from time to time, don't blend blends. But Gary was a master at doing this. And so this is different blends all put together. I do know that because of looking this up, that bergamot is in this blend more than once because it's a blend of blends, right? So if I just choose bergamot, I'm also getting a great benefit there. So I want you to see, I can fix it that way, or I can choose just the single. Okay. So again, if I have some of these on hand, I'm going to use them. If I don't, and I'm saying, well, what can my budget afford? Or I can only pick 1 or 2 things, what's going to get me the max value or the max result, then this is going to start helping me choose that. While we're here, each of these categories has a description, right, about why it's relevant, and then a list of system stressors, things that can create a problem in that system of the body, or things that can make it feel taxed or overburdened or challenged in some way, things that can make it feel deficient, things that are not supplying its full range of needs to perform at its optimum work. And so we go through this and we look and say, Are there things here that I can take action on? Are we being exposed to endocrine disruptors? Is it in her shampoo at the groomer? You're going to see this show up again in a little bit, and I'll talk to you about where we're going to address it. But I got sidetracked on the grooming thing. Endocrine disruptors are all around all of us. And until we start sort of streamlining the products that we're choosing from and knowing that they don't include any of those things, that can be a big deal. Endocrine disruption, she just got spayed, right? Ovaries, she just got spayed. All of that is part of the story that we are seeing as a factor into why her endocrine system is not optimized, why it's not in a balance. We look at things like heavy metals. I tested my water here and found that we were being exposed to heavy metals. So we've started using filtered water. And we just start looking at the things that we can do and take some action on to help address the needs of the body when it calls for these things. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. So if I go back to products and I say, wow, it's as simple as maybe rotating some bergamot into the daily protocol, fair enough. If I look at the musculoskeletal system, she's calling for omega Gi's, Agiles, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, Copaiba. All of these things to me read inflammation support. And if I think of a puppy that is growing and developing, there is going to be some inflammatory response associated with that. This can also be true for our seniors who are, really starting to slow down, that things aren't as lubricated and as range of motion as they used to be. And there are some factors that are creating problems in the skeletal system. For her, I think this is related to growth and development. And the fact that she's very athletic. She goes for long walks, perhaps too long for her age right now. And then she's been wide open playing with Poppy and all that sort of stuff. So we need to support the growth. And if I flip on Omega, for example, I'm making some tremendous progress there. But I want to jump from here down to diet and nutrition, because the Omega shows up here as well. So you saw me turn it on up there. It's now checked here as well because it's the same product. Agiles also showed up. So remember I said she's been on a kibble-based diet, and we are in the process of moving her to Volhard. I believe, and pretty much I know, that changing her to a better food source is going to improve her immune system. It is going to improve her gut health. It is going to improve the supplementation needs that she has. And so I want to fix the food first, let that play out for about 6 to 8 weeks, and then see where we are. I know using Volhard with fresh foods, real fish, and all the things that are built into that base mix, she is going to get better omega through food sources. So I'm not going to supplement that one at this time. I also know that Mighty Zyme I have started to use for the transition period from kibble to fresh, real foods. Why? Because the body doesn't naturally make digestive enzymes to support fresh, whole foods if it has been on a kibble-based diet. Digestive enzymes help us extract out nutrient from the food source we're giving it. So you've heard me say, all my kibble feeders need an omega, they need a digestive enzyme, they need a probiotic, and they need a vitamin mineral. I'm going to fix all of that with her diet or at least I think I am. And I want to see where the diet change takes us before I start adding a bunch of other supplements. But I am supporting the transition using digestive enzymes on a temporary basis to help kickstart the body back into making them naturally. Amino is going to get improved by fresh, whole, real meat foods, right? Amino acids come from the meats that we eat. And so she's going to get a boost in that. If she were a heavy duty athlete, a high performance dog, um, a significantly exercised dog, then even as a young dog, she might need an amino supplement, but we're not ready to, in my opinion, based on what I know about nutrition, we're not ready to go there until we see what the food does first. The food is also going to help us with the systems of the body and the lubrication of the systems and the hydration and all the things that sort of come together in that area. Inner defense is showing up. I know that inner defense includes oregano. And so that leads me back to thinking that there's something going on with the immune system. Some of it related to the food she's been eating, right? But there may be sort of this underlying thing with that predisposition to the infections from the vulva and these sort of little ear infections that she has. And so again, if we get all this stuff right, then ideally I am eliminating the need to keep going back to the vet for infections. That's the whole point of all of this, right? Am I telling you I can cure it or treat it? No. But I'm telling you I can give the body the tools that it needs to do its best work optimally and perhaps eliminate those things through natural products and the natural tools that the body will use effectively. Okay. So, would I choose inner defense if I have it? Yeah. Oregano, if I have that, I would remember we chose that on the first screen. We can take a look there. So coming here, like I said, I just walked through this whole thing. Oh, she's not going to drink the Ninja drink, right? She doesn't need that. I like them, but I'm not going to give that to the dog. This tool does not know that she is not human, and it does not know that she is furry, right? So let's assume, because I know that my food change is going to be addressing amino, essential zymes, and omega, right? So I've fixed that, so to speak. Juvacleanse is showing up as a need for support, which anytime you think of Juva, it's the Greek word for liver. So any of those products will be supportive to the liver. We're already doing that by some of the other detox work that we have in place. Okay. So if I were going to add anything here, if I weren't already addressing it, it would be to work on the liver and these areas. But again, I'm addressing them outside the scope of supplementation first, if that makes sense to all of you. Okay. And so then we would just keep walking through all of this. Hydration is going to be improved with a fresh food diet. We will stop the thing called organ robbing, where when we send in dry kibble, it has to pull moisture from all the systems of the body so that the food, that dry food, can get wet enough to begin the digestive breakdown. Right? So moisture robbing is pulling moisture from organs like the kidneys, the liver, the skin, the heart, and so on, so that we're pulling moisture out of the body into the digestive system to break down that food. And so that can be a stressful thing. But we also need to monitor How much water are they getting on a regular basis? Are they drinking more than seems reasonable? Is there change in pattern happening? You know, that sort of thing. So again, I think I'm going to fix this, fixing the food. Mental and emotional stress. I don't know that this dog really has any other than, excuse me, other than A, she's not home right now. She does like it here, but she's not home. She got spayed recently. Hormones are changing. And there's been a lot of stress in her house. Her people have been frustrated with her. And so some of that could be a factor in how she presents that back. Okay, how she presents that back. So it's easy enough to pick some calming oils and diffuse them or apply to her and see if that can help. And then the sleep, I don't know much about this to answer that. I can tell you I would not jump to CBD products for her. She's 8 months old. I would work on maybe diffusing some things at nighttime or when you leave the house, and maybe trying to get her to settle and rest a little more in those times. She slept really well last night, but the first night she was here, she was very frustrated about being in the crate. So, and it's interesting, you know, para-free, when I think of that, it's about parasite control. The food we give her, I know, is going to start offering a natural parasite, but you think, how does that affect sleep? Well, that's because how the systems of the body work and when they work. And if there is something underlying in there, and you look at the circadian clock, for example, and the liver, that detoxification system kicks off around, I think it's 2 or 3 a.m. That could affect your sleep, right? So we have to look at all of these things. This is not my priority for her. My priority for her is the food change that we already have in place and trying to maybe get under the hood a little bit to this underlying predisposition to infection and see if there's something we can do to help address that, and then see where all of that takes us. So I hope that that gives you some insight as to how we use this report and the pieces of the puzzle that start getting put back together to come up with a strategy and to come up with a plan of action. And then you rescan, right? You rescan in a couple of days or a week or a month or whatever. If she were sickly, right? If she were a sick dog, I would scan her every day and be making some adjustments. For those of you that are new to essential oils, that's going to be harder to do if you don't already have sort of a collection. I've got a collection, right? And I've got a whole closet full of a bunch of supplements. Do I use them all every day? No. But my first aid collection and at the ready collection, it's kind of all here. And so if you're local, I can certainly help you. But if you wound up with a dog that fell ill today and became very unhealthy, or got a scary diagnosis, and you're like, I want to do as much as I can naturally, then we're going to have some collaboration that needs to happen, really looking at the pieces and parts of the puzzle here, and maybe placing a couple of orders along the way. So I'm here to help you. That's really my goal. My mission in life is to help as many people and pets as possible thrive with wellness, and to reduce a lot of the things that we're exposed to and get behavior under control. For me as a trainer, behavior is completely related to all of this stuff. But certainly we have dogs like Pumpkin who have no behavioral issues whatsoever, other than she's just wide open. And we want to just set up the stage and the foundation for her to have the best healthy lifestyle moving forward. So this is going to change. This is a point in time. This is not diagnostic. And we're going to ebb and flow through the things that that she needs in her developmental periods. That's why I have protocols for things like surgical aftercare, like for the spay neuter aftercare, or gosh forbid you break a leg or you have an injury and you have this surgical wound that has to be healed. We've got things that we know can help improve that. Senior citizen protocol, allergy protocol, anxiety protocol. We've got outlines for all of that. And then we can use tools like this to get very specific to the individual. So going over to this little area, this is just going to show me the things that I checked off as I need to take action on. I need to have these products, I need to implement them, and maybe place my first order or add to my subscribe and save order, depending on what it is. If it's a supplement like the digestive enzymes, for example, and we're going to give a dog digestive enzymes now as part of their senior protocol or their kibble protocol, then that needs to come to you every month. And so that subscribe and save program helps that happen. But you can change it at any time. It's just like a Chewy order or an Amazon order. You can add the things that you want, and if you want to skip a month or swap it out or do something completely different, you can. So I would love to help all of you. I'm happy to do these Zytos with you, especially for those of you who are looking to consider how essential oils can help you. I won't charge you to do this. And if you are ready to start using essential oils, I would love to be your coach. And you get me and a private group with a lot of educational resources and a lot of people who are teaching a lot of different things, not just for animals, but for children and men and grannies and people with ailment X. And, there's a ton of information available that is a part of being on the team, so to speak. And so if you're ready, it's youngliving.com. My member number is 284-1061, and I will be happy to help you get started. Happy to help you customize a first order to maximize your benefits and incentives and free stuff, and get you rolling that way, whether it's as a result of a Zyto scan, or you're just like, you know what, my dog is senior or moving into those senior years and it's time. I need to do something different. I need to really start thinking about getting as proactive as possible, and we can create some strategies for you that way. Or your dog has allergies, or your dog has anxiety. I've got some common ways forward. And again, with a scan like this, we can tweak and customize and get very specific. So I'm here, want to help you. Just let me know how I can do that. All right. Have a great day, everybody.